So just wanted to introduce myself first. My name is Zach Galant. I'm the other co-founder of CodeHS, and my role is CTO. So that stands for Chief Technology Officer. And what that means is that I primarily focus on everything technical within the company. So that's engineering, product development, data, kind of setting the technical direction for what we're doing as our product and everything that we do on our team using technology to help us be more effective. So it might mean building the website some days, and other days it might mean building tooling or doing analysis to understand how to make good decisions for our sales team. So lots of different things that we do there. I know you met Jeremy already, and he gave a little bit of the story, so I won't repeat all of that, but I want to hear from you guys, answer questions. I do a lot of programming. I manage a team of engineers. I think a lot about the future of programming, what it means, what it's going to mean, how it's evolving, and I want to hear what's on your mind and try and answer that. So I'll set the stage a little bit first and then open it up to questions so I don't talk forever. I think right now is one of the most exciting times to be getting into programming because of AI. And you might hear people getting nervous about it or worried about it or saying things like, oh, you shouldn't do programming, AI can do coding. That's what's going to take over. That's going to be all the work in the future. And I think they couldn't be any more wrong. When I was in high school, people told me not to study computer science because all the jobs were going to be outsourced and it was just a dead-end field. And that would have been the worst advice to listen to out of any advice I could have gotten. Thank goodness I didn't, and that was really lucky because I just loved it and I wanted to get into it and I wanted to continue doing programming. And I thought that the version of that advice that's happening now is saying, don't learn programming, AI is going to be able to do it. And that is going to be some of the worst advice that people listen to. So I think that it's actually the opposite. Because AI is here, it is the best time to learn programming because you have a super-powered genius available in your pocket at all times to answer your questions, to turn what you're doing into something that's even more available to people, more applicable. You can learn, you have someone to help you at all times when you're stuck. And it means that when you know the programming, you're able to harness what AI can do and be even 10 or 100 times more effective at accomplishing things and making a dent in the world. So that's kind of my spiel. I'll pause there, and I really want to hear from you guys what questions you have. And yeah, we will go from there. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So just to repeat it a little bit louder so everyone can hear, the question is, how will artificial intelligence be incorporated into CodeHS on the student end? I think there are a few different ways that we'll be thinking about how artificial intelligence should be involved in a computer science education. Number one is learning about artificial intelligence, right? What is it? What is it capable of? What are the algorithms? How does it work? What is the math behind it? That is one angle. And we are working on materials that help you understand that, different grade appropriate, age appropriate level materials where it might be exploring with something like Teachable Machine when you're younger, or maybe it's starting to build out one of the algorithms as you have a little bit more experience. So that's one direction, is just learning about that field of computer science, which is artificial intelligence. Next is, how does artificial intelligence impact what programming you teach and how you do it? And I think that that's a really tricky line to toe. And we want to make sure that we don't sway too far in either direction, because you could look at your assignments and say, AI can write this code. And you're right, it can. But that's not really the point of why you're in school. It's not just to finish the assignments and accomplish the work. Then you're just checking a bunch of boxes and moving along. The point is to train your brain on it. So of course the AI is going to know more than you, and it's going to be able to accomplish more than you and more quickly, and you'll be more effective at using AI to do your homework. But then you're not learning anything. And the idea of, oh, AI is already here, I'm down here, why do anything? That's kind of backwards. You need to train your brain to get better, and then you plus AI later, when you have the skill set and the experience having to have gone through it yourself, you needed to do the work to figure it out, and now your brain is trained, and then you're going to be able to do programming with AI even better than you would have without it. And there's a big difference between learning mode and professional mode. So I have engineers on my team, and I'm saying to them, use AI. Use AI as much as you can, because their job is to build software that accomplishes goals for our business and helps students and helps teachers. It's not to learn. Now, they also need to learn, but their job is to accomplish things. When you're a student, your job is to learn. You're not getting any better grades for your school running your guessing game program that you're learning how to make. And that's not helping make a better impact. That happening faster doesn't change anything. It's all about you. So that's kind of how we're thinking about it, is there might be opportunities to bring using AI programming into the curriculum, but it should absolutely not replace having to struggle through it in the same way. And I think that that's kind of not changed that much because of AI. It's just something that's available there. Yeah? Yes, back there. So the question is, how does AI even work? I'll go 45 seconds on how large language models, which is kind of the newest version of AI, works. All right, imagine you read the entire internet, all of the text, all of it, but you know nothing. You don't know anything about anything, but you've read the internet and you remember it. Now you've started to notice patterns, and you can remember those patterns and represent those patterns that you've learned as a series of numbers that are matrices with weights. So it's essentially like saying, okay, I can recognize these patterns and I know how to encode those patterns in a different way. Now, when I see a partial pattern, I know how to complete the pattern in interesting ways because I've seen so much of it. So now what you can do is see a beginning bit of text, recognize those patterns, know what's likely to come next, and throw a little bit of randomness in there so you don't always get the same exact thing. And then you can regurgitate a bunch of text from there, and then that looks like something that's sensical. So now one step further is, it's kind of a magic version that turns, well, how do you replicate like text that has shown up a bunch, and how do you turn that into reasoning and thought? And it's kind of this cognitive leap, which is if you've seen enough things, it's kind of indistinguishable what reasoning is versus statistically picking the next most likely thing to say step by step until you reach a conclusion. And that's 45 seconds on how AI works.
The minute 30.
Oh, shoot, come on. Don't you guys watch in 2x speed? What is the process of getting into a computer science job in the future? So let me caveat this, which is that things change so quickly. So, what might make sense right now might not make sense exactly in a year, but that might not make sense in another year. But I would say the things that are constant are you able to have skills, apply them, communicate them well, get things done, and be reliable? And if you can do all of those things, then you can do a job. And having computer science skills means that you'll be able to be a great member of a team, accomplishing work, using skills that you've learned around programming, around computer science, around systems thinking, around intuition, that will be useful for you to be given work and on a team with someone. And if you can do all of that, then that will put you in the category of people that someone wants to work with. And then you just have to figure out, well, is it through an internship? Is it through starting your own thing? Is it through applying to jobs on a job board? Is it through meeting people? Is it through going to a hackathon? Is it through going to college, joining a club? There are a million ways that all can happen, but I'd say the constant is, do you have skills? Can you work with people? Can you learn? And can you communicate? Yeah, a good thing. So what's a good thing that can happen if you're learning programming and you're incorporating AI into it? Well, I think one thing that is good is when you're learning programming, you have to do a lot of practice. You have to solve problems that are tricky. They may be kind of, not that interesting, or they might go away once you're done with it, and it doesn't create value beyond the act of having to do it. But I think with AI, what you can do is you can transform something that was more of a chore that you do to learn, that like trains your brain, into something that becomes useful, that can get put out on the internet, turned into an app, added some graphics, change the theme, make it something relevant to you. in a much easier way, so you get more excited about it. And the more excited you are about the work you're doing, then you will naturally, if you're excited about something, find the extra parts. Find the parts where it doesn't quite work, where it doesn't really solve your problem, where it could be a little bit more useful to somebody. And now you have a new problem to solve that you're self-motivated to solve. And AI can kind of bridge that gap where it turns something where you're like, okay, I know that I have to write a program that uses these control structures because that's the assignment and that's what we're learning. But can you transform that into something where, like, to accomplish this goal that is meaningful to me? And when you're doing that, now you have something that really matters, and you get to, dig in and explore. And when you have that, you learn so much better.
Time for one more question.
Okay. All right, one more question.
What's the most difficult thing you deal with, like as someone working in computer science?
Getting people to make good decisions and be on the same page as each other to accomplish a goal. So it's all about systems and understanding how you communicate, like what you actually want done and why, and that adjusts over time, and work with a number of people who all have different life experiences and different perspectives, different amount of information to all understand what you understand, and also for you to understand what they understand, and for you to keep changing that based on every bit of new information that you're getting in an appropriate way to make you effective. So I know that was kind of a lot there. It's like knowing the programming is the way that you are uncovering those decisions and how you think about trade-offs, but then at some point, you know the programming. The hardest thing is doing the right programming and how to apply it properly. And that's also why, a good note to end on, I don't think that AI is going to take the jobs, even if it knows programming, because that isn't the hard part. That is an essential part, but the hard part is using the right programming to accomplish actual goals that you have.